Grab your ice axe and your rope as we meet with former climbers and make our way to the citadel of the mighty Matterhorn. It's all coming up next on this episode of Disney History 101.
I'm Field Guide Beth. Field Guide Beth here. I'm Field Guide Beth. You're Field Guide Beth.
Everybody say howdy, Beth!
Walt Disney's Third Man on the Mountain was released during November of 1959 and was based on Banner in the Sky by James Ramsey Ullman. The story follows Rudy Matt as he follows in his father's footsteps to ascend the Matterhorn. The tale made such an impression on Walt that he had his artists recreate a 1/100th scale version of it.
Disneyland's Matterhorn opened up during the summer of 1959.
During its first decade, there were several ways to explore the Matterhorn. Skyway cabin, bobsled, and rope.
Hey,
Brian, I haven't seen you in a long time.
40, 50 years?
Yeah, how you doing?
40 years.
No one knows about that last method of transportation more than these guys. Jeff, Brian, and Alan, former Disneylanders who ascended Disneyland's own perilous peak and lived to tell their stories.
Eileen Lane, she worked in the costume department. She gave me my costume every day.
Lederhosen and a hat and red shirt and suspenders.
And our Royal Robbins boots, the blue suede climbing boots.
We climbed the summer of 1968. I just had started my freshman year. And Alan and I, we were paid $2 an hour when they took out everything that they needed to take out. We ended up with $61. So for $61 a week, we got to climb the Matterhorn and dated girls and had the best summer ever.
My brother Jeff worked at the Matterhorn before I did. He worked at Disneyland. And he graduated from UCLA, was in the ROTC program, went in the Navy, and got married all at the same time. So nepotism at work, he asked me to go to, he didn't ask me, he wanted to know if I wanted the job, and I said sure. And so I went and applied and got hired. And it was probably the best job I ever had. So yeah, to get paid for your sport, it doesn't get much better than that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to high on the icy slopes of the Matterhorn.
To climb the Matterhorn,
There's two tunnels that go out that you can't see the actual tunnel because there's a slab of rock that hides it from the public view. So you go out the tunnel and then you just walk to the side.
you come out in a little hole right behind this rock,
And then you can wave and magically appear.
and you go straight up.
And it's above the ride. We never climbed where the ride is for safety.
Keep your seatbelt fastened at all times, and please hold on to hats and glasses.
Four main, one was up the face and going up over the overhang. and the other was around the corner facing Fantasyland, going up that face. This was we call the Italian side because the actual Matterhorn is on the Swiss-Italian border, and this would be the side that faces Italy on the actual Matterhorn. And then the fourth climb was a traverse all the way around, and I enjoyed the Italian climb. It was easy.
Now there was a little toe hold. You go to the top, and there was a little toe hold that you could put your one toe over and give yourself some slack.
How to climb.
The overhang, you can't really see it from these photographs, but it's a good degree of overhang. That in order to climb it, there was a specific move. You had a piece of webbing that you could put your feet in, and you had a carabiner, and you have to reach up and clip the carabiner into the piton. Yep, you have to clip it into the piton, and then hang on to the webbing, put your foot in the webbing, and use the webbing to climb up and go over. And it's also where you rappel off.
The rope came through the carbiner, wrapped once through the carbiner.
Take the rope. Rope was in this hand. You go twice around the carbiner, and then I locked my hand behind my right hip.
That's your brake hand.
My left hand was just guiding on the rope, and over you go.
And then you held with a couple of gloves. You could you could manage your descent with your right hand. But when you got to the bottom after that carbiner, after the rope ran, there was so much friction. The carbiner was not red hot, but it was very. You didn't want it to swing too much between your legs. I got scars on both my inner thighs from that red hot carbiner.
Now, Jeff, being the big brother that he was, wouldn't allow me, my first week there climbing, he wouldn't allow me to rappel off the overhang. He had to make sure that I was, skilled and comfortable and safety and everything. But after a while, rappelling off the overhang is one of the exciting parts of
That's the
your
fun
day.
part.
Yeah.
Our two young mountain climbing experts, Hans and Otto, make ready to ascend the treacherous slopes of the towering peak. They will attempt to scale Bergen Ridge with its dangerous overhang at the summit. And now Hans and Otto begin to climb the perilous peak of the mighty Matterhorn.
And sometimes we would fall on purpose. We'd be on the overhang, give yourself some slack, and falling, and you scream, "Oh!" The people, because you got to put on a show.
I tried one time to go up this side right here, and Alan was belaying me, and I tried a move that I hadn't done before, and I came off. I fell.
How far did you fall? Maybe 10, 50 feet, maybe?
Yeah. Well, I was coming up a chute, and I thought the rope was behind a horn, but it turned out that the horn was slanted. So when I came off, I pendulumed over.
Yeah, I know the rope.
And I was penduluming back and forth.
The Matterhorn is a steel structure, and then it's covered. It's a wood scaffolding that molds it, and then there's chicken wire and gunite. The cement. And it's very thick at the bottom, but at the top it's very thin. And I was hanging on one day, and there was an earthquake, and the part that I was hanging on to broke, and I fell off.
Oh my gosh!
Because at the top, the gunite's only like an inch or two.
Yeah, right.
Because they're spraying it from
They're spraying it, yeah.
That's amazing that you were there at the time of the earthquake.
Bernie was a character. He shared the break room with us. He knew how to yodel. And he also played the trumpet, which meant that he could play the alphorn.
The dressing room is under Coke Terrace, and just outside the dressing room to the right were the stairs that went up to the stage that came up out of the ground at Coke Terrace, and to the left was the storeroom. Lots of stuff stored in there. Jeff and I were wandering around in there one day, bored again, and we found the alphorn. So we got it to Bernie. We talked him into going up on the mountain with us. So he went up just to the very first stage where you just walk out onto the mountain, and we set him up on a platform out there, as big a platform as there was. And he played the alphorn. He went do 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 do, and people started. That was the biggest crowd we ever had.
Yeah.
People started to come, and he stood there the whole time, We climbed up, and then he played doo-doo-doo, trying to descending notes, meaning we're coming down. He was a musician. And then we rappelled back down, and we all went in. He said, "I'm never doing that again." He was scared to death out there, but he did it one time, and I bet it was the only time anybody did that.
Yeah. Fred the yodeler, and he was Swiss, and he had his authentic get up, and he played accordion also. And but I do a little bit of yodeling, and so we would do a shtick, and he would yodel up to me, and I'd yodel down to him.
Oh, that's great.
And that was fun.
Okay.
People are in line to get on the Matterhorn. There's a series of songs that is played over and over and over again, and we had. There's an elevator that goes up to what's called the 5th floor, and at the 5th floor, that's where the people say there's a basketball court. That's a great Disney myth that there's a basketball court there. Well, there's no court.
It's a half court.
There's a staircase that goes up, and the hoop is nailed to the staircase.
So this postcard says, "A panoramic view of Tomorrowland as seen from high atop mighty Matterhorn Mountain as an alpine climber approaches the summit. Far below, a sleek monorail train crosses the submarine lagoon on a journey through the world of the future." Well, the problem is that the photographer was not a climber, and what was actually happening is I was rappelling. I was going down, not going up. And anybody that sees this, that's a climber, is going to know I was going that way and not this way.
Yeah. And it's always the mighty Matterhorn.
Take a look at that.
It was never ever referred to anything other than the mighty Matterhorn.
Oh.
If you remember the
cool.
Carnation, we had a treat that was the mighty Matterhorn, like Sunday, and it was like 5 scoops of ice cream with 3 different toppings. And, yeah.
When was the last time we climbed? I truly believe the last time I climbed was immediately after Disneyland. We went to North Palisades Glacier, the Sierras. That was the last time I climbed. That looks like me way back, huh?
Yeah,
That's a picture from the Montrose Search and Rescue Team.
that's right. I never did actually get to climb the Matterhorn. Kathy and I went back in 1990, and I was going to climb it again. And they said the best time to come is in mid-October, so not mid-October, mid-September. So I went back in mid-September, intending to climb, and it started to snow. And the headline in the paper was "Der Winter kommt," and that was the end of my Matterhorn. So, and I'm a little bit old now for either Matterhorn, the real one or not.
Ah,
So
we
that's
could do it. We could do it.
You know, the overview, just the whole environment is. In fact, I've got a photograph of the Peter Pan's pirate ship from the top of the Matterhorn.
The restaurant.
Top of the Matterhorn, the restaurant. Yeah, and I just enjoyed being up above everything and being able to look around. It was such a nice experience.
Yeah, that was a great part about climbing. You could.
Yeah.
Here's a good illustration of that. You can't see that from anywhere else in the park.
We all want one more day on the mountain. All of us talk about it just one more time.
Yeah.
You're late.
Yeah, one more day on the mountain.
Though future climbers may ascend to the summit, we raise our ice axes to all true life mountaineers of the Matterhorn's golden age.